Hello guys, welcome to a new video, and today we are going to talk about the roles of a duelist in defense. Let's just get started with it, okay? The first pointer would be information. I talked to a lot of teams and a lot of players and asked them, what do you think is the best role to gather information in defense? And usually they are like, it's initiator or sentinel, and I'm like, no, you're wrong, because duelist is the best role to gather information in defense. Let's just discuss how. Okay, let's say you're Sova and you're reconning in B main. Your recon can be broken very easily, or it can be dodged and they can just take the space after. If they break it, you don't know if only one person broke it or if there are a lot of them, right? Or they can just mask it, or even if let's say 4 of them are spotted in your recon knife or camera, after 5 seconds you don't know where they are. They can be rotated on the other side of the map, they can still hold that space, right? Where initiator and sentinels are a good source of information, but in my opinion they're not the best, which is duelist. Why? Because you can just use your teammates utilities to go aggressive, and this way you can have a lot more information. You can just see what's happening, you can just hear what's happening, and this is what I like to call as manual information, right? So if let's say if there are a lot of people, you can just fight them as a core. If there is like let's say no one, you can just leave your teammate to have like an info line, and you can just rotate and reinforce the other areas of the map where the opponents most likely are gonna be. So if there is no one in B main, they're most likely gonna be towards middle or A main, right? Very easy. The second part is if you are not getting any value on your side of the map, let's say you're holding B main, but nothing's happening, right? You can either push to gather more information, or you can just rotate and re-aggress onto the other areas of the map. Let's say you cannot push all the time, right? Because they are gonna be marking you, they'll have turret, and maybe you can do that like once, twice, thrice max, right? What do you do the other times if you don't get any value, right? You can just rotate and re-aggress onto the other areas, ask your teammates support. So let's say you're towards A main, you went towards short because there was no one A main. You can ask your teammate to just flash, drone, or just double peek with you. You aggressed and see how much information you just gather for your team. So that's basically the first pointer or the role of a duelist in defense, to gather information by either playing aggressively or by pushing if there is no value on your side, or by rotating and re-aggressing on another area of the map. Now let's talk about the second pointer, which is playing in layers. Okay, what is playing in layers and why is it so important? Let's talk about the word what first. Okay, basically playing in layer means the layer 1 is that you're playing the most aggressively. The layer 2 would be that you are falling back and you're playing semi aggressively on the side, and in the layer 3 you will be either playing for retake or you'll be playing in the last position of the site. Basically, why do you play in layers? So that you can just buy more time for your rotations to come. Let's say initially you just went there and you just resisted them, so that they will have to clear this area properly. They cannot clear it like really fast, right? Then you fall back to the next layer, and then you resist them again in this part, and then you fall back to the third layer. Okay, now if your teammates have already arrived, then you can just maybe play a crossfire in the second layer with your teammates. Okay, if they are on the way and they're really close, you can maybe play in the layer 3 after resisting, so that they're really close. You can just ask for an anchor smoke, and in the meantime the opponents are going to reach you, which is, let's say you're playing backside, your teammates will be just there in time, right, to flood for you and just help you, right? But if your teammates are really far, they're flanking, or they just cannot help you, then after denying in the first and second layer, you can just play for retake, right? Very simple. Now, one thing that you just need to remember is you should always have an escape plan to the next layer. If you're playing in layer 1, you should have an escape plan to the layer 2. If you are playing in layer 2 and your teammates are not there yet, then you should have an escape plan to the layer 3, which is very important. And as a duelist, you have the means to it. Let's say smoke, abraft, dash, and all that. Okay, that's the second pointer for a duelist. Okay, now the third pointer is using your teammates utilities to repeat. And why is that so important? That's actually very important, let me tell you. Okay, that's important because the opponents have a lot of utilities. Okay, in this game of Valorant, they have a lot of utilities, right? If they get the main areas for really free, they can just, or let's say they just have to invest only one recon or one stun to get the main areas, they can just dump all the utils onto the site on you. So when you're trying to play crossfires with your teammates, you can do nothing because you're either flashed or stunned, right? And that's why it's so important for a duelist to be rigid and keep repeaking and not give the space to them for free, or maybe just, you know, with one util. So let's watch this with an example. Okay, let's say you're playing in a basic setup like this. In this composition, you peek short with, let's say, a Sova draw like recon and woman smoke, you know, and let's say they send you back with a stun or recon. Right now you want to repeak, but if you repeak dry, you can get punished because there's marking you, right? You can just ask your initiator to just stun for you, you know, and then you can repeak into that. Now if, let's say, you know they're here, you can, for the third repeak, let's say if they send you back, you can use your dash to repeak, you know, or if you think they're just going towards long, you can just go over towards long, use your dash, or ask your breach to come over so that he can flash for you, and then you can again repeak, again you're resisting them, right? Or you can use your Sova's drone and stuff like that, right? So just because you're using utilities, you're not getting punished, so you're ensuring your escape plan. At the same time, you're making them waste more utils in these, you know, layer 1 and layer 2. So when you play in the layer 2 or layer 3, they will have nothing to actually break your crossfires, and that's very important. Learning how to use your initiator's utilities to re-aggress. For example, you don't get any value towards A, you can go towards middle, ask for a breach flash, and then aggress, you know. Let's take another, you know, maps example. Let's say you're playing in B, you're asking for, let's say, Q's flash to peak, you know. In mid round, you're asking for a Sova drone and you have an op. Let's say you're following the drone and, you know, you're just basically taking the space with it. Let's say in middle, you're just getting smoked off always, and you're like, hey, they always smoke me off, Sova, whenever they smoke me, you just have to recon for me, Q, you have to flash for me, and with that I can just peek, you know. So this is how you should be able to use your teammates utilities, you know, and ask for it. Let's say you have no value in main, you can just go towards short, ask for your chaos flash or drone or double peak, and again you gather so much information and deny them in the choke points, so they have less utils to go on to the side. Example of layers, basically, let's say you're playing race in layer 1, you're just, let's say, denying the layer 1 with seize nade and stuff like that, and when they're just taking the space, you know, you can just play, let's say their layer 2 can be, you can deny for orb or tree, and you can try your best to deny them, but at the same time having an escape plan to the next layer. And if your teammates are there, you can just shut them down. If your teammates are, you know, just about to rotate, you can fall back, and again you have bought so much time for your teammates to rotate, and when they go into the side, they have nothing to actually dump you out. And if, let's say, there is no one spotted here, you can leave a teammate and you can just go and re-aggress towards other areas of the map, and it would be best if you use your initiator's utils to do that as well. This is the whole thing of how you should be playing Duelist in defense. First pointer, information. Second pointer, playing in layers. I told you why. Third pointer is using your teammates' utilities so that you're not getting punished, and always ensuring an escape plan. I hope you liked this video, guys. I hope you learned from it. So if you did, just drop a like down below, subscribe to this channel, and I do provide personal coaching for you as well, so you can check out my Metafy profile. I'll drop the link down in the description, and I'll see you next time, guys. Take care.